Finally, there are certain eventualities you must take into account when driving in the mountains. The first are curves. Obviously, it's impossible with some curves, but try to maintain a 15-second eye lead time so that you know what the road is doing up ahead. For instance, is the gradient increasing? Are there S-curves ahead? Mountain roads often bend and turn to climb the hillside, so if you know a curve is ahead, slow down well ahead of it. These mountain curves can be especially dangerous, especially when they're on a grade. After all, in the mountains, sometimes the outside of a curve is the beginning of a drop-off. Slow down before you enter a curve, and be sure you're in a gear that will allow for a slight acceleration through the curve. Having to brake through a curve increases the risk of losing control, while slight acceleration helps you maintain control. Never exceed the posted speed limit for a curve. If you have to slow down to attain this speed, be sure to slow down before you reach the curve. Again, braking during a curve is dangerous because it is easier to skid or flip over. Believe it or not, on a mountain road, particularly going downgrade, it's sometimes safer to get into an accident than it is to avoid one. For example, let's say you're driving down the road and a car crosses the center line heading right for you. What should you do? Well, if there's no safer option, the answer is to hit the car head-on rather than swerving to avoid it and losing control and going over a steep drop-off. Because of the size and weight of your school bus and the fact that both you and your passengers will be above the point of impact, you will take less damage from the collision than you would if you were to swerve and roll the bus over a large drop-off. The same thing is true with wildlife. Deer, elk, or other animals are common in mountainous regions and may occasionally leap in front of your bus. Just like with vehicles, hit the animal rather than swerving to avoid it.
If an animal, like a deer, is in front of the bus, shouldn't I at least hit the brakes?
No. If you do, the bus may swerve or go into a skid. Slow down if you can safely do it, but don't brake hard. Better to hit the animal before you risk the safety of yourself and your passengers. There's one more thing we need to discuss. When you're driving in the mountains, there is always the possibility you may have to ditch the bus to avoid an accident, or because of one. The best thing is to plan ahead. As you drive, look for places that could be used as escape routes. Sideswiping a rock face, trees, or the guardrail is sometimes the preferred way to regain control of your bus. Another option is to use an escape ramp. Escape ramps are designed to stop runaway vehicles without injuring the driver or passengers. This is usually accomplished with a long bed of loose gravel on an uphill grade to slow the vehicle. In some areas, impact attenuators, like crushable guardrails and large sand barrels, are installed to safely stop a runaway vehicle. Escape ramps along mountain roads and impact attenuators are always well marked. Know where they are on your route and don't hesitate to use them if your brakes fail.